Hey friends. Hello. How are you? Okay, I'm a little tired today as I was yesterday, but there's a second set of issues that occurred for me when I went to the hospital, and this is particularly salient and important for the public to know. The hospital here in California is being required to tell you that if you are going to be admitted to the hospital, you must have a COVID test. Okay. And in my case, because porphyria, which is what I inherited, creates exosomes, which are the same symptomatic indicators of COVID-19. Okay, I have a disease that mimics COVID-19. And because the hospital's policy was that if I tested positive, they would send me up to the floor where all the COVID-19 cases are, in which case I've already got damage. And if I am now exposed to COVID among the other patients, it's terminal for me. So I declined the COVID test. I said it's be very dangerous for me, knowing that the test is going to be positive, to be placed among people who actually have COVID. No, I cannot have that test. And they went crazy. They went nuts. They didn't know what to do. And then they decided that since they didn't know, I knew what the results of the test would be, that I had to be in isolation as if I had an active COVID virus infection. And so they put me in a sealed room, door shut, air sealed room. For the while, it didn't have enough circulation. They had to give me oxygen in this air sealed room. And then finally they put an air circulating cleaner in it so that there was enough air in the room to breathe. And everybody who came into the room had to be covered in complete gown and mask and stuff as if I were an active COVID patient. Can you imagine the cost of that? That's porphyria. Okay. And I live in isolation, and I even get my groceries delivered. I don't go out in public because having porphyria, I'm already half susceptible to the COVID virus, even if I had, so I don't want to have anything to do with the virus, and I'm very careful. So if I had accepted their invitation to go upstairs and be treated by a cardiologist for a heart problem that I don't have, I would have been placed in a private room, which would have been very expensive for my insurance company. You want to know why US healthcare is this expensive? All right. If I had allowed that to happen. Yes, and this is the third time, based on test results that indicate I have suffered no heart damage, that they keep pushing me to a cardiologist. Every referral is to a cardiologist, even though what my problem is prior to the heart. And they have an endocrinologist in the Sutter building, and they have a hematologist in the cancer center, but they can't refer me to those specialists in their own medical system. This is what is called in retailing bait and switch. It's a form of fraud. And, okay, there was one more point I wanted to point out about this COVID thing. The requirement that you actually must have the test is a corporate statute. It is not a law. It is written under Maritime Admiralty or Administrative UCC codes. It is not law. It is subject to your consent. You can decline to do it just on the basis that you do not consent. This is not law. This is a corporate statute. I don't have to consent to it. And then they go flapping around trying to figure out how to deal with it. But of course, everything they do is more expensive than just simply complying and bending over and letting them do their thing. You really can't just quietly comply because they see that as a sign of weakness, and they will take you for every penny they can get out of you. This is why American healthcare is the most expensive, bureaucratic mafia in the world. And that's what I have to say about COVID-19 in the hospital. I hope you find this informative. If you do, hit the subscribe and bell, and we'll continue our discussions now into the system of medical care that has victimized veterans. It has victimized people who have been placed on lists. You know, there used to be lists back in the Clinton days, but the lists have been replaced with artificial intelligence. Now, the list you're on is connected to your Social Security number. All right, we'll talk about this some more. We'll see you. Bye-bye.